The African National Congress, along with its alliance partners, the South African Communist Party and Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, are set to picket outside the Constitutional Court in Braamfontein, Johannesburg today. For the latest on this, we take you to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga and video journalist Mashudu Ramachela, who are on standby to give us an update now. Canny, thank you so much for your time. Why is there a picket there today?
Well, good morning to you, Mxolisi, and the viewers at home. You may remember on Monday that there was a unanimous judgment that court-ordered release of Chris Honey's killer, Mr. Janusz Walush. This follows about 17 years of him being in custody post 2005, where he became eligible for parole consideration. The Constitutional Court, in its findings, focused on constitutional values and found that he had met all the requirements for parole. Of course, this is a unanimous judgment that has outraged people who loved Chris Hani. You may remember that his death, or his assassination rather, in April of 1993 almost derailed South Africa from becoming the democracy that it is today. So of course, there are many people who are invested in this matter. With the imminent release of Walush Mxolisi, we expect that hundreds of people will show up today to protest this release. This is a matter that is quite close to many people's hearts. It's reopened the wounds of apartheid, so we're expecting that from about 12:30 we'll start seeing some people gather. As you can see at the Constitutional Court, there isn't much activity happening around me right now. I'm going to step out of frame to show you that there is a bit of a protest here, but this deals with another issue. But we do expect that numbers will start to trickle in, Mxolisi, to protest this court-ordered release of the Polish immigrant. We do understand that when he is released in a couple of days, he might be returning to Poland, his home country. We do understand it will be a hostile environment for him to return here. I do see the Premier of the province, Mr. Panyaza Lusufi, who has just arrived here at the Constitutional Court. He's been quite passionate about this matter and spoken about the issue of forgiveness and parole. I'm going to rope him in now so that we can just get at least some kind of an idea from one of the alliance partners, the ANC. Mr. Lusufi, thank you for joining us. This is a matter that you are personally quite passionate about, not just as a member of the ANC, but as an individual. You felt that this was a heartbreaking judgment for Chris Honey's killer to be released. Can you appreciate the fact that the Constitutional Court did rely on constitutional values that you and many other activists in this country fought for?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. You must not confuse the right to protest and the right to express our views with any constitutional matter. We are not here to attack the Constitutional Court. We are not here to attack any judge. We are not here to attack any judgment. We are here to demonstrate our dissatisfaction with that particular decision. And remember, that decision was not taken from the blue. That decision was an appeal against the decision of judges before. It came here because other judges differed on how that matter should be handled. But we have the right to protest, we have the right to express our views, and also have the right to criticize any institution. There's no institution that is above criticism, and there's no institution that must not be spared any form of protest if we feel we need to protest. And there are many people that have raised their views on any judgment. Me and you know, some people hold strong views about the death penalty, regardless that the Constitutional Court says the judge a death penalty is unacceptable. But people continue to express their views. Do we criticize those people? Do we stop them from raising their views? We don't. So it must not be stopped. We are here to say, even though there's this particular judgment, we have the right to express our views. We are going to express our views, and no one can impose how we should respond to this judgment on us. We know best how to respond, and today is one of the areas that will demonstrate that we are not happy. And people must not confuse ANC in government and ANC outside government. Those are two different institutions, and ANC in government will do government work, and ANC in outside government will be an activist-driven ANC, and it will be agile. It will run its protests, it will run its campaigns, and we are here with our partners, with our alliance partners, and therefore people should understand that we are not questioning any judge's right to pass judgment. We are not questioning any constitutional court to operate. Are we here to bend down this Constitutional Court? No. Are we here either to attack personally any judge here. No, we are just outside to demonstrate our dissatisfaction. And it's there in the Bill of Rights, it's there in our Constitution. So any other person that has a view or want to ridicule us for taking this particular stand, then they don't know why the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is there. Any organization has the right to protest. The ANC is not banned in this country. And the ANC is not an organization that cannot enjoy the rights that are contained in the Bill of Rights or in our Constitution. We are here with our alliance partners to raise our views and to raise our dissatisfaction, and I think we have the right to do so.
Speaking on that issue, there have been legal bodies, I'm sure that you've seen, that have raised concerns on the optics of these statements that have been made following this judgment and how it can be perceived with respect to the judiciary. Do you understand some of those concerns, especially because you are bringing it to the Apex Court?
Well, we do. How many people, communities have protested because a rapist have been released on bail and people challenge that decision? Did that body also raise the views that people must not challenge the bail? Parole is not a right. Parole, it's a privilege. And if parole is a privilege, we must also stand on our rights and contest that privilege. Because this person is released on parole. It's not released on any other thing. And therefore, there are laws and regulations that manage how parole must be managed in this particular country. If people feel that we must overhaul those parole regulations, let it be so. We have the right to express our views. There was a TRC, and the TRC refused to parole this particular individual. And that's the law of this country. Were those bodies there when this particular individual was refused parole? They didn't. Why they want to be opportunistic and come here and want to lecture us on the law? As much as they have the right to exist, we also have the right to exist. As much as they have the right to express their views, we also have the right to express our views. This is a democratic state. Everyone has the right to express their views. As long as those views are not inciting violence, as long as those views are not against the law, we will express our views. We are here today to express our views. We are here today to express our dissatisfaction. We are here today to say Chris Hani can be killed twice. They killed Chris Hani in 1993, and this judgment can't kill Chris Hani again. And if anyone felt Chris Hani was an ordinary South African, they are wrong. He was a hero. He was a stalwart of our struggle. He's the person that delivered this freedom that some people want to lecture us about. He was the person that laid his life for us to be free. And if somebody wants to kill him twice, you expect us to fold our arms. We'll never do that. We are going to rise, we are going to raise our voices, we are going to raise our dissatisfaction, and we have the right to do so under this democracy and under this constitution. And any other person that wants to lecture to us, they can lecture to themselves as well. They must know that we have the right to express our views. We have a right to protest. We are here to protest. We are not here to bend down a constitutional court. We are not here to assassinate a judge. Unlike some people who went on social media to call for assassination of black people and assassination or mutilation of bodies of our black women. Did those legal bodies raise their voices? No, they didn't, because the lives of black people are cheap. We are not going to accept that. This person is a foreigner. He left his country unchased and came to our country uninvited and come here and kill our hero. And we should just accept, because a set court has raised these views and therefore must not protest, or we must not raise our issues. We are not going to accept that.
Being that this decision is final, what do you hope to achieve with this picket when that 10 calendar days lapses and he finally is released? What can we expect on that fateful day?
No, leave it to us. We will protest, and we will ensure that even when he leaves that prison door, he must know South Africans are not happy. And we have a right to do so. We have a right to send a message to him that you assassinated our hero. You can't leave that prison as a hero. It will never happen. It will never happen that Walus will leave that prison as a hero. He is not a hero. He's a murderer, and he must know that. And he must go to his country. If the Constitutional Council said they are releasing, he must go to his country where he belongs. Anyway, he left there unchased and came to us uninvited. He must go back. And we are very angry on this particular matter. People must understand, Chris Hani was a hero. Chris Hani was a revolutionary. He sacrificed everything for us to be free. And we can't allow a murderer to be given a red carpet, allow a murderer just to leave prison as if he's a hero. We will not allow that. We will protest and register our dissatisfaction. And for God's sake, we've got the right to protest. We've got the right to raise our views. We've got the right to register our dissatisfaction. Why are other people have the right to register their dissatisfaction? We don't have a right to register our dissatisfaction. Others even go on social media and insult us that black people need to be killed. Did we call for somebody to be killed? No. Did you call somebody's bodies to be mutilated? No. We're just expressing our views that we're not happy with this judgment. And I don't think that if you're not happy with a certain judgment, you should be humiliated and should be told that you don't respect the law. We are the first one to respect the law. We crafted some of these particular laws. And for God's sake, some people laid their lives for these particular laws.
All right, thank you so much. That was a very passionate Gauteng Premier Paneza Lesufi, just explaining that although the judgment is final, they will rise today and they will make their voices heard as the imminent release of Yanush Walus draws closer. I'm going to toss it back to you in studio, Mxolisi.
Canny Maphanga on the pulse of that story. Thanks very much indeed for that update.